ranks, so I'm aiming to kill. Set up in the men's, don't give a fuck, you can still get drilled. All I wanna do is crush that porn. My niggas them told me make peace before you go to war. I said fuck that, I wanna drill now and then drill some more. Smoke my man in the face, yeah that point got scored. Couldn't give a toss about law. Niggas no CP. More time if it was done by the 7, it was done by me. I ride for my G's, put my heart on the streets. So if you see me, that's not my teeth. So chat tough and I'm spinning round. Ask the ops how that spin the sounds. When I spin the bang, just try and know that's a nigga down. And where I'm from, we always know to keep things around. All the risks that the team be taking. That's why my nigga Nero's money.
Salute, Mike. Hope you're alright, bro. Gabe, salute to you, brother. Just flipping set the live up before now. I've just flipping deleted the damn thing whilst I was live. So I just had to start all over again. How are you, Mike? Hope you're good out there, bro. And Gabe, if any of you want a link, you're more than welcome. That's not irritating me, that doing that. Right. What's popping, lads? Yeah, I'm good. I hope you're good out there. Right, I want to talk about this fight. Did any of you see this fight? Yeah, all right, Mike. I'll send you a link now. Gmail. Flipping computer's playing up now as well. It's all going wrong tonight. Yes. I've sent it to you, Mike. Oh man, everything's going wrong. Anyway, I'll wait for Mike coming. Or a couple other people before I start. I've sent you the link, Mike. A couple of rounds, not the whole thing. All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to have to start because I can't be here any longer. Get rid of that. You there, Mike?
What up, dusty ass motherfucker?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
Oh, just chilling. Just chilling.
The computer's doing me head in. It's charging up and it's making some stupid noise. Right, I'm going to have to start, Mike. I don't believe I've just done that, Mike. Just set the live up, mate, and deleted it whilst I was flipping live.
Yeah, I saw you look like you was looking around and you're pressing some buttons.
Yeah, and then I had to go on my phone and restart it all again. But anyway, nevertheless, I'm here now. Right, Mike, did you see this fight last week, bro?
A couple of rounds of it. I didn't catch the whole thing.
Oh man, what a fight that was, Mike. Lee Woods versus Michael Collin. That for me was.
It ended up the talk of the town.
Pardon?
That fight ended up the talk of the town.
Oh yeah, it's fight of the year so far, Mike. For me. You ain't gone live for so long you forgot what to do. Yeah. Salute, Stormy. If you want a link, Stormy, I'll send you one. I deleted it, Stormy, whilst I was flipping live. I can't believe I just done that. I couldn't believe it. Oh, I was fuming, mate. But yeah, Mike, this fight, it was fight of the year for me so far. And I'm so glad I watched it because I'd heard people talking about it, and to be honest, Mike, I'd never heard of the Irish dude. I'd never heard of him, so and I'd seen a couple of Lee Wood fights. Yeah, send the link. Right, okay, Stormy. I'll send you one now. God, it's all going wrong tonight, man.
Yeah, a lot of people was talking about the fight. I ended up tuning in because Miss Fight Fan has said something, said it was a good fight. So I ended up tuning in, and it shocked a lot of people, man. It just shows people that you don't got to know these guys' names necessarily to see a good scrap, and especially to
Exactly.
see somebody's feet go up in the air and them slide out the ring like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I sent it to you, Stormy. Right, let me get rid of this, Mike. Yeah,
You see you see that cigar advertisement on the bottom of his boots?
yeah. That's what they used to say about Frank Bruno. Embassy Number One were going to sponsor him because every time he went on his arse, you'd see the sponsor on bottom of his boots, on the soles of his feet. But yeah, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm just driving. It's a little bit loud, so I just go on mute. I'm
All
not
right.
talking.
Ricky, what's good, bro? I hope you're good out there, brother. I hope you're good. Yeah, Mike. Well, anyway, yeah. Salute Will Magic Man. Salute the Conlon fight was one hell of a bout. Yeah, it was a great fight. Salute to you, Ricky. Salute to you, Will. Yeah, it was a top fight, wasn't it? I'm so glad I caught it, man. I was so glad. I had me bouncing on the edge of my seat. I couldn't believe it. And then he got and then he got knocked out in the first minute of the last round. But he was tagging that Lee Woods all night with them beautiful like looping lefts. Was he? I can't remember. Looping lefts or right. I think he was a southpaw, wasn't he? So it'd have been a right. But yeah, it was a good fight. Good fight. So Mike, um, I wrote some things down. What I want to talk about. Um, what do you think of this? Because about the AJ and do you think that's a good fight, Mike? If it was ever made?
I think it's a good fight, but I just think Joe Joyce is going to sleep. It's a good fight for the
Thank
British
you.
fans. It's also a good fight for some of these American fans. Uh, Not a lot of people know who this Joe Joyce is, so Joe Joyce can get a good look. And you got to make something. You know, Usyk is not worried about. Doesn't seem like he's worried about boxing right now. So something's got to happen, and I think for what it's worth, that's whether or not people like it or not. You got to fill that date with something, and I think Joe Joyce is a good one. It's just it's too bad that a lot of these guys that's been around that'd be I would call Ortiz a tougher fight than Joe Joyce won't ever get a shot.
Yeah, yeah. You see, I have to disagree with you there. I think, Mike. I think I think it's a good fight, man. I don't. I heard a channel. I was listening to a channel just not so long ago, a couple of hours ago, and he was saying the same thing that he thinks that Joe Joyce is a sitting target for AJ because he's slow on his feet and that, and he was saying that he reckons that Joshua would knock him out too, but I totally disagree because if you think about it, he couldn't knock Joseph Parker out. He couldn't knock Andy Ruiz out. So what makes them think that he can knock Joe Joyce out? Is it because you think that he's a? I'll read your comment in a minute. Well, do you think because he's a sitting tart because he's slow on his feet? But to me, I think Joe Joyce has got a better chin than Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker's been on his arse. Well, not who's put him down. Dillian White's put him down, hasn't he? Probably that's about it, actually. But to be fair, Mike, Josie Parker has got a good chin, but I think I think that Joe Joyce has got a damn good chance of wearing him down. And I was listening to this channel. I don't want to mention no names, but he was saying, "Oh, he's slow on his feet. If he catches one of them right hands flush on the chin, he's out of there." But when I don't know, I've just got a funny feeling that that's a lot tougher fight than people think. I don't think Joe Joyce would get knocked out in that fight. I really don't. Even though AJ is a big hitter, I just don't think he would. I don't think he would. But
Well,
if they're gonna do it, they need to do it now because Joe Joyce has been parked up for nearly a year, and he's 35 years of age, so he's rocking on. Just let me read this comment quick. What Will's put. It'd be like someone standing still compared to Usyk. Oh yeah, it would. Will, yeah, it would. Yeah, because Usyk's a mover. Joyce got a hell of a chin, but Joshua hits harder than anyone else he's fought. Yes, he has. That's very true. That is very true. So it would be. I think it's a good fight. And Joe's apparently today, Mike. Don't quote me on this, but something come up on my phone, and I only had a quick flash look. I'm not sure if it was Twitter or Instagram, but it was something. It was something Joe Joyce. It was either Scam Jones or someone confirms that they've sent Joshua a contract to make this fight. But my bad, Mike. Go on, bro.
well, I don't think Joe Joyce has a chin like everybody says he does, and you know, and he damn for sure doesn't have the stamina as well. When you watch his fights, Joe Joyce can move those legs a bit too, but he's not going to move those legs fast like he will in the first couple of rounds, like he will in the sixth and upward. He doesn't have a chin like that, and what's evident by that is how Brian Jennings slowed his ass down, and he doesn't have he can't take body shots like that by way of how Brian Jennings did them. And we also had to put in account for that in order for somebody to have a chin, especially as the heavyweight, who do they have a chin against? You know what I'm saying? And Joe Joyce never fought somebody like that could hit like Derek Chisora, and all the other guys that knocked down Joseph Parker. He's not fighting guys like those. And now he's going to get to fight one of those guys. And Usyk is a lot faster than Joe Joyce. You know what I'm saying? It's not like AJ has boxing ability. So he should be able to see those punches coming. He's not going to sit there and get hit in the eye over and over again, like Daniel Dubois did with those slow punches.
Yeah, go on. My bad.
So at the end of the day, like I said, go back and watch Joe Joyce's fights. He's tender to touch to the body, and there's no evidence of him having a chin besides commentators.
Yeah, well, Andrew Charles, salute, bro. Yeah, but right. Well, then I'm going to break it down for you then, the best I can. He got rid of Carlos Takam. Now, I know it's years later after AJ had fought him. I know that. A couple of years after. But he fought Daniel Dubois, right? And Daniel Dubois was flatlining everyone. Now, I know he's not flatlining the people who AJ fought, but you've got to give him some credit. Daniel Dubois can punch, Mike. Now,
yeah, well, Laws, how many people did Daniel Dubois just knock out cold with one punch?
Oh, I know, but then again, you can say the same thing about AJ. How many people has AJ knocked out with one single punch? AJ
but then with that, you have to put in who has better defense, Dubois or Anthony Joshua. Who has better offense, Dubois or Anthony Joshua? So how is how is Joe Joyce going to have to work against a guy who possesses more defense abilities and more offense abilities than a guy who really is one-dimensional? Because the only thing that Daniel Dubois been doing is just jumping on people and hoping that the shit broke them down into where they couldn't get up or the ref stopped the fight.
But then you can say it like this though, Mike. When Anthony Joshua fought Usyk, yeah, look how many times he clocked Usyk. And I didn't. There was, to tell a lie, actually, I think it was round 7. There was a point where Joshua did clock Usyk. It was in one of the 2 rounds, 7 or 8. Probably the only 2 rounds he won. But it was actually in one of the rounds where Joshua did clock him, and he sort of wobbled him a little bit. But if you looked at Usyk's face after that fight, his eye was right bit all marked up and stuff. But if what I'm trying to get at is if Usyk can take them punches, what makes people think that Joe Joyce can't take them punches?
Well, you know, laws, you have to take it as a couple of things. That could be an anomaly, right? That could be he faked the chin till he made it. That could also be that maybe those punches did hurt, but he just didn't show it, and he did what he had to do because Usyk was doing a lot of moving around in that ring, you know. So Anthony Joshua had to catch him, you know, and Anthony Joshua can't catch nobody, and that's the reason why he got fucked. Well, he can't catch nobody like that, you know what I'm saying? That's the reason why he got fucked up. He got against a guy that possessed just as much or better stamina than him. You know, and he had to catch that guy. Not only did he have to catch him, he had to not get caught trying to catch him. And he couldn't do it.
Oh, I know he couldn't. But this is what makes it interesting though, Mike, because people salute to you, Josh. I hope you're good, brother. I'm sorry about before, mate. I just messed up. I deleted my live whilst I was live. So I had to set it up again. But back to the thingy, Mike. Yeah, but Mike, this is the reason why I think it's interesting, right? Because if they don't, right, Mike, Anthony Joshua is very inactive, right, bro? If you look over the past three years of his career, he's only. Here's the OG. Salute to you, Stormy.
Yo, what's good, man? How you guys doing?
Oh yeah, look who it is,
good, bro.
Mr. Long time no see, duck and dodge. Every time, you know what I'm saying, he come on every blue moon like the dude on Mortal Kombat. Whoopsie, you know what I'm saying? Here comes slide on in.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah, right. Let me ask you, OG, because he sees something in Joe Joyce what I see. Right, Stormy. I was listening to a channel right earlier on, a British channel. I'll say Ultra Tech. I was listening to Ultra Tech, and he was saying that Joe Joyce is a sitting target for Anthony Joshua, and he'd get knocked out within a few rounds. But I beg to differ on several occasions, and the reason why I'm saying that, Stormy, is one, because I seen Joshua couldn't knock out Joseph Parker. He couldn't knock out Andy Ruiz. I'm not saying that Joe Joyce has got a better chin than them, but for people to say a guy who's proven in all his fights that he's got a great engine and a granite chin, why do people automatically now think that he's a sitting duck and he'd get knocked out off him?
Can I say something first? Look, Joe Joyce is not a sitting duck. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the Brian Jennings fight, the first couple of rounds, he was light on his feet, moving around, dancing around, playing with Brian Jennings and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he didn't get rid of him due to maybe, you know, Jennings being a little bit different and stuff like that. But the fact that remains is that, like I said, is like, I'm not basing it off of not having a chin. I'm not basing it off of being able to get caught. When I'm basing it off of Anthony Joshua being able to see the punches coming, because he ain't been able to see the punch come for a very long time.
Yeah, yeah. Right, over to you, OG, and then I'm going to add some onto that after.
Well, first I want to say I've been listening to more and more UK broadcasts too, talking about fighters and the fights and stuff like that because it helps me to get more data, from just one side, so and I think that anybody that wants to increase their knowledge of
Yeah,
fighters when they're fighting outside the US and everything should do that as well because I'm gaining a genuine in education on how to assess fighters. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the consensus is that Joshua and Joyce, competing at the amateur levels and everything, and early in their professional careers, uh, Joshua um, Joshua was a few steps ahead of him,
yeah,
and even in the sparring and everything, we had a chance to see that that he was he was out of the gate ahead of Joyce. But one thing Joshua has not done since acquiring the multiple titles that he had and losing them twice,
yeah,
he hasn't improved.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
has
I
not
agree there.
improved. After acquiring those titles, Matchroom, Hearn, whoever is representing him, they sat on the titles. See, this is where when you want your fighter to advance, you're supposed to put him in bouts that, not necessarily he's threatening to lose because you've got titles that you want, to take care of.
Yeah,
But you put him in fights where he can improve in certain areas. The areas where he kind of lacks or something, they just were inactive. They were inactive, and I had said it a long time ago. You can go back to some of my older streams when I talked about Joshua. I said he's going to mess around, and the rest of the division is going to catch up to him. Now, when I
yeah,
spoke of those words, I was thinking of guys like Dubois and Baby Anderson and some of the younger fighters that were on their way, behind, but
mm,
behind by like 10 to 15 fights. But Joshua was so inactive that not only
exactly,
did they close that window,
exactly.
but they now are in contention now. So while he was losing and trying to come back from losses, these guys were still gaining. Now, the one guy who also suffered a loss was Dubois, but you see how fast Dubois came right back to get
Yeah,
back on the winning track, but also to get back into contention. He wants to fight. I'm not certain that AJ wants to fight. So when you look at the improvement that Joyce has made over the time, a fighter like Brian Jennings would have given Joshua a lot of problems because Jennings knows how to fight on the inside. AJ can't fight on the inside. He
mm,
has done nothing to convince that as big as he is, strong as he is, the kind of punching power he needs from a certain distance, which is basically mid-range, and in close if he uses his uppercut, he hasn't improved. So it's like Joyce has improved markedly,
yeah,
and he's
yeah,
had the chance to witness AJ's 2 losses. That's
yeah,
data right there for him to assess and say, like, well, Usyk is a much smaller man than me, and all he did was keep that jab in AJ's face all night, and it befuddled him. You could look at Andy Ruiz and say Andy Ruiz is far smaller than me, has faster hands than me, but doesn't punch anywhere near as hard as me. And remember, AJ said, "Oh, it was a punch from the gods."
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Joe Joyce has a punch from the gods, okay,
Facts, facts,
and
Stormy.
he's more mobile than AJ. He's more mobile. I think he's more game than AJ. So whatever transpired when they were sparring in the past and that kind of thing, those ships have sailed.
Mm,
These men may be on 2 different path trajectories, you see? And I didn't know that Joyce has suffered this injury that he suffered because I was wondering why he was so inactive, as
yeah,
the,
yeah, me too.
but now that I see what has happened there, all he needs to do is get back into fighting again, but he presents something that a lot of guys in the division don't have. He has strength. He's courageous. He has a decent chin.
Mm.
He has a great jab. He can be mobile when he needs to be. He really doesn't take a step backward in the ring.
Yeah.
All of those things are nightmarish
Yes,
concerns
Stormy.
for AJ.
That Stormy.
Yes,
That
sir.
that is brilliant. That's brilliant. And the reason why I'm saying that's brilliant, just reeling back to what you were just saying at the start about being inactive, I was actually thinking about this the other night to myself. I was thinking, because I did a video on it in the week, but I was thinking later on that day, I was thinking, if I've seen probably every single Anthony Joshua fight from the beginning to where he is now. I'm not saying I've seen every one, but more or less all of them. And when I looked back before he fought Charles Martin, when he was fighting like every couple of months or say 3-4 times a year, when he was active, I found him to be a better fighter then. I'm not saying a better fighter, but he had more about him then
He
than
was
what he
more
does.
fluid.
Yeah. And then as soon as he won the title, Stormy, and as soon as he lost the titles, but even before he lost the title to Ruiz, he dropped from fighting like maybe 3-4 times a year to just once a year. And he seemed to have suffered after the Klitschko fight like that. And now, I was saying to Mike before, if you look at how active he's been over the last 3-4 years, he's only had a handful of fights, three,
Yep.
4 fights,
And two, one of the fights was a mandatory fight because they were
yeah,
trying
for
to get the
Pulev, yeah,
rematch against Ruiz.
yeah, and
So a fighter he should have beat in the first fight.
yeah, exactly, and that's what I mean. And Joe, I didn't even know Joe was injured, so that sums up why I've been asking people, why is he parked up? But that that's what I was saying earlier to Mike. If Joe's gonna fight him now, Joe needs to fight him because Joe's cracking on in age. So and he's got better and better. I'll admit, I used to rip shit out of Joe Joyce. Fucking, I used to laugh at him, and then every time I always had him to lose, he kept winning, and he kept
Yeah, right.
winning, and he kept winning. So I
Now
thought,
that's the sign secretly, Lost D, that a fighter is better than forecast when they just keep winning. And they
yeah,
win in different ways. It's like it's not the same time, pull it out with a lucky punch or a hard
yeah,
punch. It's like he does things, he wears the opponent down
yeah,
mentally. One moment
physically,
he wears the opponent down physically, another moment he's out jabbing the guy like he did Dubois and busts him up in that sense. And
yeah,
then it's like when you start putting those victories together, next thing you know, you look, this dude is pretty doggone good. It's like
yeah,
because he just keeps winning. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
that's the sign of a good fighter.
yeah.
Listen,
And he doesn't miss many punches, neither does he, Stormy?
he's very economical. I had likened him to the young George Foreman. The
Yes, I
young
remember you
George
saying, yeah,
Foreman would get in there, cut the ring off on guys, give them limited options, and keep them in his sights. That's how Joe Joyce fights. Go back
mm,
and watch his last 2 or 3 fights and go back and look at something like George Foreman versus Joe Frazier 1 or 2, or
yeah,
George Foreman versus Ron Lyle. You'll see exactly what I'm
yeah. That's
talking
a
about.
great fight.
If you
That
just
is,
you take the head off of Foreman and put Joe Joyce's head on it, you're looking at the same dude. It's just
yeah,
that he may not punch as hard as George Foreman did, but the
yeah,
styles are very similar. And George
yeah,
went through the heavyweight division until he ran across a great one called Ali. So just think about it.
yeah. Well, this is what I said to Mike before. I said, like you just said, when you've got an opponent who's constantly in your face, and you're hitting him with everything but the kitchen sink, and you can't shift him, and he keeps coming back and putting pressure.
That
He
brings the mental
systematically
fatigue.
physically he breaks a fighter down, doesn't he? Because
Yep.
you're thinking, man, what have I got to do to get rid of this guy?
Now let me hand you something just off of that remark that you made, and I, affirmed it. AJ's mental is that awfully fragile. So that's another glaring weakness that works in Joyce's favor. You see?
Yeah. That's why it's a good fight, Stormy. It should happen, man. They've got to make that fight. Because I mean, if you think about it right, Stormy, if he doesn't fight Joe Joyce, who's he gonna fight? I mean, unless he's fighting, he's not fighting Tyson Fury, he's not fighting Dillian White, he's not fighting Usyk, he's not fighting Deontay Wilder, even though he's called him out, even though everyone knows that Wilder's taking time off to think about what he's gonna do. Who the hell is he gonna fight? That's why it's got to be made. But I think it's a good fight. What's well put? Joe's like Big George, so true. Reminds me of Ali called Big George the Mummy. Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. Don't forget that AJ has been beaten up in the gym by some of the other guys.
Yes.
Coley, Dubois. There's another heavyweight over there. I think it's a Nigerian guy. I don't know his name. Dark-skinned guy. He's kind of wide-bodied.
Not Fabio Wardley.
Not Wardley, no, because Wardley is a light complexion guy. This is a dark-skinned guy, but he's another heavyweight. And he's a young heavyweight. It's like I don't think he has 10 fights yet. He might have 9 fights.
Right.
But he's another one of those guys, either a Nigerian. I'm trying to think of who it is, but it's not Dubois, of course. But this guy, I mean, there's a number of fighters who have caught up.
Yeah.
See,
Agreed.
AJ should be considered on the level of Wilder, Fury, those guys. But remember, his setback came before anybody else's, and it came at the hands of a lesser level guy. Wilder losing to Fury is not, that's not a crime. Fury had skills that are difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
But when AJ lost to Ruiz, and the only reason he won over Ruiz in the rematch is because Ruiz was so woefully out of shape.
Yeah, he put on an extra.
And if you don't believe what I'm saying, just take a look at the 12th round of the fight when AJ was running around the ring because he knew that Ruiz couldn't catch him. And he hardly threw any punches in the 12th round. It was like AJ was playing keep away. I was like, how are you a heavyweight champion not closing the show? He should have been on top of Andy Ruiz, banging him to the body, trying to knock the jelly out of that belly. He wasn't doing any of that because getting in close put him in jeopardy.
Yeah.
So if it's an in-shape guy who could come after you, let his hands go, it's a different fight, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what, Stormy? Right, I'll send you a link. And you know what, Stormy? Especially when Andy Ruiz did that. Come on, with like the last. There was only a minute to go. He should have just gone all out for it.
He was too fat and out of shape. Lost D, you have to remember. What did he weigh?
AJ. When
no, but I'm saying as far as Andy Ruiz, what did he weigh in at in that second fight? It was 280.
I know he was a lot overweight. He was about 20 pounds heavier, wasn't he?
Well, this is what I wanted to say. If he weighed in at 280, let's just say 286 or 287 or something like that.
That's disgusting.
On fight night, he had to be 315. Okay.
Yeah, he was.
That dude wasn't going after nobody except for the next plate at the buffet, and that's it. you know, and we can laugh about it because he did it to himself. He shamed himself, and he deserves any ridicule because he tossed away one of the greatest accomplishments in sport. You're the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world in the history of the sport. And you whisked it away because you couldn't stop eating?
Yeah,
Not
it's
because
savage.
you're in the era of badasses. Not because you're in there with a guy who's chomping at the bit to get his titles back from you. Because AJ, even leading up to the week of the fight, he was asking people like Johnny Nelson, do you think I can do it? Remember?
Yeah.
He was asking questions of himself like he wasn't confident. No, man.
He was like as if the pressure and everything got to him going to
And Joe
America.
Joyce ain't gonna feel none of that pressure. He ain't gonna feel. Matter of fact, he needs AJ to come in there overconfident about whatever AJ was able to do in their sparring sessions or whatever, because he's no longer that man. He's no longer that man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know who would win, but to be honest, Stormy, I've backed Joe Joyce now, like you, for the last 4 years, last 3 years. So I'd have to go with Joe. I would. I'd have to. Not because I think he would win. I think because I just have to back him. Like you say, I think.
Well, he has a number of things going for him in the
Exactly.
positive direction.
Yeah.
AJ has so many question marks on the board. You really have to wonder, what is it that's solid that he can hang his hat on?
Yeah.
And let's not forget, he's going with a new trainer now and everything too. So it's like there is so much to digest here when you talk about AJ that
yes, there is.
I'm telling you, man. And remember, he's not like Mike Tyson. See, Mike Tyson could go out there, start swinging for the fences and get you up out of there. That's not AJ. That's not who he is as a person or fighter. So, being big with muscles don't mean nothing.
He's definitely, yes, I agree. He's definitely got a question mark over him ever since he's lost that first fight to, when he lost the fight to Andy Ruiz. It's just like as if he's just give up now. It's all about money and that. Do you know what I mean? He's like, I don't know. That's how I get the feeling from him.
Check this out. And I know we want to welcome our brother Tyrone in here. Salute to you, Tyrone. I just want to say this real quick. Dillian White.
Yeah.
He and AJ fought a few years ago. AJ bested him. He stopped White.
Yeah.
There have been opportunities for them to have a rematch. They haven't even taken that fight, the fight that AJ was victorious in. Why? Because since that fight that White lost, he has improved.
Yeah.
But AJ hasn't. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Yeah.
Everything that I've put out there, it has reasoning and logic behind it. This is no hate against the guy. This is like prove me wrong time.
I don't hate AJ. I don't hate him.
Prove me wrong time. That's what this is. But that's what I wanted to say. Now let's welcome our brother TS in.
Hey up, Ty. Salute to you, bro.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
What's going
on? A long time, Tyrone. You all right, bro?
Yeah. I'm good.
I spoke to you since Christmas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Boxing Day, I think, last time I spoke to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've kind of lost track of the time myself.
Oh, the years are flying. The years are flying by. Yeah, so just quickly before I go on to my next subject, me and Stormy, Mike was here, but I don't know where he's gone. We were talking about if the fight with Anthony Joshua and AJ happens, Ty, how would you see it going?
Who?
If it, Anthony Joshua, and Joe Joyce, if it was ever made.
There's something wrong with it. That guy is mental. It's just not, I don't know. These are guys like Joyce or Wallen, like he would have beat probably in 2016, 2017, 2018 comfortably. He'd be a big, big favorite. But it's like he's let a lot of, I don't know, since the first loss. The second loss, yeah, the second loss wasn't great either. But at least he lost to a really, really, really good fighter. The second time, the first time was
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah. Do you think though now, Ty, he's got that big because the feeling I get from Anthony Joshua is, I mean, I get the feeling he still wants to fight, but I just feel like his heart's just not really in it anymore. He just because he's made that much money. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he's not world famous, maybe in America, but over here, and in Europe, everybody knows who he is.
mhm.
He's made his money. I just get the funny feeling that I don't know. I would have to go with Joe on this. I think so because I think he'd be more hungry as well. That's what I think.
Doesn't he turn 37? He's as old as he
Mm,
turns 37 this year as
yeah,
well, right?
well, that's what I was just saying to Stormy. If he's gonna do it, now is the time to do it because he's 35 years old. I didn't. Stormy's just pointed out that he's had an injury because I've been racking my brain myself, thinking, why is this guy parked up? Why is he not doing anything? Because he's not fought since he fought Takam. That's got to have been what
July.
middle of summer last year. But yeah, if we're done on that, I'll move on to the next subject if you don't mind. It's up to you. Right, I want to ask you a question. I don't know if any of you lot know this fighter, but if I can find it.
Sorry
Not
about that.
this. Not this. This. David Anavisian is the guy on the left-hand side. And this other dude is some guy called Someone Metz who's fighting. It's on BT tomorrow, this. But I want to ask you about this because I'm going to bring it all back to what I'm talking about. This, as far as I'm aware, this fight's off tomorrow, isn't it? Virgil
Yeah.
Ortiz versus McKitson. Is now, am I led to believe that's off because Virgil Ortiz is not well or something?
Supposedly.
Right. This, they, what's going on with Virgil Ortiz? Because he was scheduled to fight David Anavisian, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the number one final eliminator for Spence's title for the WBC. Now, I saw an interview with him on a small British channel, a very small British channel. It was about 3 months ago, maybe a little bit longer. And they asked him, why were you not fighting David Anavisian? And all he said on it was, that fight wasn't the right time. That fight is further on down the line. Now, I saw an interview the other day with Frank Warren. Frank Warren come out and said that obviously because David Avavisian fights under Frank Warren, he said we were good to go. It was gutted for the lad because it would have pushed him into number one contender for Spence's belt for the WBC as a mandatory, like. And he was saying we sent the contract to Ortiz, and they never signed it, and nothing never come of it. Now, is that me, or is that a bit of ducking on the sly? And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's a lot of fighters what are ducking that David Avavisian. I don't know. I'm trying to work it out because I did a video on it, and it would have been a barn burner of a fight because I call him the Terminator of a Avicii, because he's like Joe Joyce, Stormy. He just keeps coming forward, and you can throw everything at him. Do you think that's a bit of ducking on the sly, or what, Stormy?
I think it's a bit of ducking, and I also think it's a bit of something that we're seeing across the board in the sport,
Mm,
where fighters who are rugged and good are not being fought. You know,
yeah,
they're passing up opportunities to fight those kind of fighters. Guys who are tough, who take a whipping, they get chances, but
yeah,
not guys who are rugged and can fight as well. That it's like you're starting to see, like today, Arturo Gotti would be ducked.
oh God, yeah,
Mickey Ward would be ducked because they're not only tough and rugged men, but they could go in there and beat you on their sheer willpower and their dogged determination. These men of today are very soft-hearted, man. They don't like to try to challenge themselves or put themselves in a sense to just check their temperature, as Andre Ward would say, and say, like, let's see how I can match myself against this guy.
yeah,
And guys like Avanizian, they can thrive currently because of these things. The best of the sport don't have to worry about guys like him because they can outclass him.
yeah,
But guys who are sort of on the fence and you're not just so certain
yeah,
about,
exactly, yeah,
they're the ones that will, yeah, I'll sign to fight him, but let me fight these other 2 or 3 fights first. Against
exactly,
who?
exactly. Now I would have never thought that of Virgil Ortiz. Because I rate Virgil Ortiz. This is only speculation, Stormy. But
Listen, man,
I've
one thing
been,
people don't talk about Ortiz's fight against Green Beans, right?
yeah. Well, he got
Green
wobbled.
Beans damn near knocked him out.
Yeah, that's true. He
They
did.
don't talk about that. It was like, as much as they want to try to say that Green Beans dropped Bud Crawford and all of that, right?
Yeah,
They do not talk about he had Ortiz on Queer Street and couldn't finish him. He couldn't finish the guy. The guy was stumbling around the ring and everything, looking for a place to set his foot on solid ground. But
yeah, that's
everything felt
true.
like he was stepped off a boat into the river. Huh?
Yeah,
And it was like, after that, they made certain, they say, whoa, pump the brakes. Yeah, we've been advertising that Virgil is a killer and everything, but the killer almost got killed
yeah,
to a real boxing trained eye. You understand?
yeah,
So they dialed that back. I bet you one thing, if that was Imantas Stanionis, he wouldn't have made it out of that round.
yeah. That you were saying, yeah, the Serbian lad is he or something?
He's
Montemor,
Lithuanian.
Lithuanian.
Lithuanian. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, he wouldn't have made it out of that round. Stanionis is a finisher.
yeah.
He's like, you know what it is like watching him fight? It's like watching Julio Cesar Chavez
Oh
when
God,
Chavez used
yeah.
to break guys down and
He
break
was a
them down
killer,
and break
wasn't
them
he?
down. Now, I'm not
Yeah,
saying he's Julio Cesar Chavez. I'm just saying that the workmanlike effort that Stanionis puts in, he beats guys with attrition and also by putting his hands on people. You got to be in tremendous shape to go the distance against him. You got to be able to take a punch pretty damn good, and you got to be able to move laterally and sometimes stand your ground and have enough pop on your punches to make somebody respect you. There's not a lot of guys who have all
yeah,
of those weapons.
yeah.
They might have one or two, but not the complete package.
Look,
This is
look.
why people want to get mad and they say stuff like, well, Boots should fight Bud Crawford right now. No, you should maybe fight some of these other guys that are right
Mm,
there swimming in the pool with him to shrink the pool. Huh?
yeah,
But it's dangerous because there are some guys, they might have all the skills in the world and look like the finest jet set modern car. But if they get challenged and that old ticker comes into play, The ticker don't have nothing to do with talent. That will and fortitude to win is something that when it's drawn out of a guy, it comes out. But if it's not there, see your boy Chris Colbert.
Yes, yes, yeah. So he got duffed up, didn't he, the other week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you see, this is what I've been saying about Conor Ben for ages. Because I was this is why I was giving McKitson credit, because he was due to go over to America and fight Ortiz, and then obviously at the last minute Ortiz is pulled out because he's not well. And I was saying, like, this is what Conor Ben should be doing, what McKitson's doing. Upcoming fighters going over to America and fighting your best up and coming welterweights. You know, instead of like Conor Ben getting a name and in duff looking good on TV, washed up
Beating up
fighters.
old guys, has-beens and never words. Huh?
Yeah,
Old
that's what I
men.
mean. Yeah.
And now I hear he's gonna fight Van Herden or something.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh, my.
Van Herden got killed by Earl Spence like what 6 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So it's like they've actually resurrected the dude, hooked him up to the table like Frankenstein's monster, and sent him up there in the storm and let the electricity come into his body to bring him back.
Yeah,
The
same with
Walking
Chris
Dead.
Algieri.
Yeah, I hate the fact that they say that the guys improved. I mean, the opponents that they're picking are right in line with his style. I mean, it wasn't really that long ago when he, went the war with who was that? It was the chef.
Oh God, yeah.
It was like a pastry. He was like a baker or something from France, and
what's his
he
name?
dropped him like 2 or 3 times, like in the same round. Paynude.
Pinard or something.
Cedric Paynude, and
I remember that.
He dropped him 3 times and he lost the fight to Ben, and then they made the rematch and whatever that was. They tried to set it up as it was something big. Like, I don't know. I think he's okay. I don't think he's really all that. He's definitely not as good as his dad was, and
no,
it's not even close.
Just let me read these comments quick, and then Stormy's answer. Lost ones, but hey, up legit, edgy. What?
I think so. I think that's what he did part time.
All right. Warzone, salute to you, bro. Right. Well, this is what I'm saying, right? Because he right. As far as I was concerned, I was very happy for him. Lost one, salute, bro. Warzone, and salute to you. I was very happy for him to go over to America and fight Virgil Ortiz, or over here, they've been calling for him to fight David Anavician. The fans have. He won't even mention David Anavician. He won't. If someone mentions that name to him, he's sort of like he has to sit down and,
Doesn't that sound familiar?
Yeah,
it's
that's
the
what I
same
mean,
type of
Stormy.
behavior you get from Maul Charlo when Mike Tyson asked him, "Why don't you go on and fight Canelo?" Or if you can't get the fight with him, fight that next guy, the Mexican monster, in Benavidez. And did you see the look on Charlo's face? It looked like he had something in his underwear when Tyson asked him that question. He needed to go change. But it's like, dude, you can't hide from yourself. Teddy Pendergrass made a song about it. Everywhere you go, there you are. You can't hide from yourself. That's what the lyrics say. And every time these guys show that side of themselves, I'm going to be most disrespectful and call them out on it, because this is the hurt business, as Mike Tyson used to say as well. And the thing about it is, you are prize fighters. So that means that you get in the ring for a reward, a monetary prize. We shouldn't give you anything going in there against has-beens and never words. Huh? We should be giving you the credit for going in there, testing yourself against not only just yourself, but the opponent. And a lot of these opponents that they do accept are not guys that when you look on paper, you have to wonder. It's 50-50. I don't know who's going to come out. How many of these guys today are fighting in those type of matches? Not many at all.
Exactly, Stormy. That's what I'm saying. But when you make a video or you speak about things like that, you get trolls giving you loads of shit, hating on you, and they're like, oh well, but it must just be me, you, and Tyrone or other boxing fans. We must be from a different era because the era that I know is the era what you know, Stormy. Was born in the 70s. I grew up watching boxing from the early 80s through the 90s, and all them fighters, even the guys lower in the up and coming fighters, they were fighting each other all the time. Now, these fighters just want to get a name for beating up stiffs. And that's why I always give Conor Ben shit all the time because I've seen like what Tyrone said when he went life and death with that French baker and he got dropped. His opponents after that have been shot to pieces, haven't they, Ty?
Yeah, well, they started off. I mean, people saw the play with the Samuel Vargas guy. I remember talking to you about him. I said that guy. They cut him away from PBC in 2015 for being bad, and they brought him over there to be another, sort of puppet or a stick figure or scarecrow for him to knock over, and he was able to do that. And they had a couple of more guys like that to make him look good, so that people will say, "Oh, he's getting better, he's improving, he's this, he's that." But I think it's just the same guy, but they're very. I don't know. It's pretty impressive.
I know exactly what you're saying, Ty.
Opponents, because I don't know how they got away with that. They basically made him forget that this guy was basically put all over the place, around his pro debut. People don't even remember that anymore. They don't even talk about it.
Exactly.
Now he's a ring top 10 apparently somehow.
Yeah. And you know what, Ty? I had a big argument with a guy on a boxing website on Facebook because he was saying all kinds of stupid shit, man. Spence went the full distance with Vargas or something like that, and he couldn't knock him
was
out.
It probably a 6-rounder or something or a 4-rounder?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, are you for real? And he said, Sebastian Formella went full rounds with Sean Porter.
Sean Porter cannot punch, please.
And I was like, dude, man, this Formella's pants. His pants. Chris Algieri was just like Stormy said. Chris Algieri got blasted into orbit off Spence 6 years ago. He was finished then.
Yeah.
It's a joke. But
and that was against somebody good.
That's what I'm saying. But this
so
is why
he was finished by the time Conor Ben got to him because Conor Ben ain't that good.
Exactly, Stormy. And this is why I was saying earlier, was this a duck from Virgil Ortiz when he was supposed to fight David Anavicent? Because what I saw of the two interviews, Frank Warren said we were good to go. We sent the contract, nothing ever happened. And the other flip side, the small bit of clip what I did see, when he was asked to Virgil Ortiz Jr., he just said that fight will be further on down the line. So he's obviously.
It seems every fight is further down the line for them because they said that about the Ennis fight. They say that about the Spence fight, even though he's number one in some of these sanctioning bodies. I think. I think they think that the public knows their secret or something that they're just not. I don't know if it's a secret at this point, but that's why the public knows it. But I guess he's not all that. He was all right when I first saw him. He was solid. And now I guess they don't think they can keep up, whatever charade they thought they were putting on. So now they have to be more realistic with the fights. Avanesian, I remember when he lost to Peterson, he's had a resurgence right after he got knocked out on that Top Rank show.
Yeah.
Mean Machine.
He
And
seems to have got better, Ty, doesn't he?
Who?
He seems as if he's got better.
Yeah. It seems like he's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what he's done, but whatever it is, it's worked. And
That's
his
what I
guard is a
talk
lot
about.
closer.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, Stormy, like his guard is a lot closer now. Like it used to be. I mean, that's how Peterson was catching him. That's how he got knocked out in the Mean Machine fight. But he beat, who did he beat? I remember him fighting. It started off with the guy in Spain. He beat him twice because that was a rematch. Carmen Laraja or something like that. And then he beat Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
Those were his
He
three
stopped
big.
Josh Kelly, didn't he?
Yeah.
In 6 rounds.
Yeah, so he's on the up. I think he'll definitely probably fight for a belt probably next year or the year after.
Yeah. Well, that's what Fish Eyes was saying. Go on, Stormy.
No, I was just going to say, and see, that's the thing that you have to give these guys who have suffered a loss when they can come back and make adjustments and start winning fights again. See, sometimes you don't become the best guy that you can be until you've been humbled a little bit, until you have to go back to the drawing board. I talk about this all the time. You suffered a loss and you have two decisions. One, you come to grips with, do you really want to do this? And two, you come to grips with, do you want to challenge yourself to do better? Can you get better? And when you made those decisions, it determines who you're going to be as a fighter. Gabe Rosado is a great example of that. This guy was in wars that he didn't need to be in. He was suffering from cuts and things of that nature and losing fights against fighters where he just didn't give himself the best opportunity to prepare for a match.
Yeah.
Taking fights on short notice and things of that nature, even if you're going in against someone of quality opposition who would be favored on paper to beat you, give yourself the best opportunity you can. Get those few extra weeks of training camp in so you can be ready. And Gabe has started to do that, and you could see the difference in his efforts in the ring. So there's much respect for people like
Stormy.
that.
Facts, bro.
And so when you see guys like what we're talking about now, Avanesian, when you see those kind of guys, they come back and they learn how to fight. Anybody can ball their fists up and throw punches at the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody doesn't know how to get out of the way of a punch, how to ride punches off, how to take some steam off of a guy's shot, and then come back and keep yourself in position to deliver the shot you need on him to change the tide and things of that nature. That's when your boxing ring IQ increases. And then you're able to be in a fight. And it doesn't come down to, I won 7 rounds, he won 5. It comes down to a point where judges have to look at you now and say, I don't know if I should give the favorite guy the round because he really outworked him and things of that nature. See, that's what I'm talking about. And when you get fighters who are ready to come in and compete under those auspices, the fights are better. Huh?
Awesome.
They're much better.
Awesome.
I'm going to take a quick minute and grab some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries, Stormy. Right, Ty. For my last, I'm going to be on for about another half an hour.
All right.
But I've got one last subject I want to cover. What do you want me to do? Wait till Stormy comes back, or just go
That's
ahead
up to
and
you.
hit it now?
I mean, if you've only got a half an hour left, it's whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Did you see? Well, let me talk to you quickly then about this fight. Did you see that fight last weekend?
Yeah. I saw. I actually I saw on Boxing Scene that it started, so I went to my live streams. I was watching it, and I was like, all right. And then I got off, and then something told me to watch it back around the end of round 11. Just something told me to go back and see it.
Yeah.
and I went back. I had already closed it. I was basically playing video games on the PlayStation. I said something just in my mind said, "Go back, watch the end of it." I said, "Okay, I'll see what's going on." So I started again watching it when it was around 11, and then I saw around 12, and then when I saw him knock him he just slumped over. I thought he gassed out because
Yeah.
he didn't look like a you know a Voltron sort of punch, or foul. It didn't look like that. I thought he hit him, and it just
Tell you what, though, Ty,
all the steam.
he was out on his feet, wasn't he, though? Don't you
Yeah, he
think?
was.
If you look
That's
at
why I was
him,
like, did he gas out?
that's what I mean. He when he hit him, he sort of just went. It was like it reminded me when I saw it, like watching Julian Jackson when he used to hit
Yeah,
people. I mean, I'm not saying he's Julian
like
Jackson,
Terry
but
Norris.
yeah,
Look, Terry, he did that
exactly.
to
Yeah,
Terry Norris. He did that to Terry Norris in round 2.
yeah. I've got that on me
Yeah,
intro, but yeah, it was that type of punch, wasn't he? Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
bang, just got the carpet ripped straight from
Mm-hmm.
under his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I
Now
can't
I
say
see.
what's that
Now I
word
saw
there,
why
Ty, because I can't pronounce that. But salute to him, the 2000
Silver
Silver.
Dressalome.
I'm just going to call him Silver. Salute to you, Silver. Salute to you, bro.
Sylvester salute. Yeah, but I
Salute to
always
you. Hope you
wondered
come.
about this guy. I was like, why isn't Top Rank pushing him? What are the prank guys doing over there at Top Rank? They're not pushing Conlon. And
Yeah,
I'm just like, and all they did was put on their little YouTube page, good luck. It's like they knew something that we didn't. Like
yeah,
he was, remember he did the whole middle finger thing at the Olympics or whatever, or the Commonwealth Games, whatever it was. And he was a prospect and they were pushing him. Then all of a sudden it got quiet.
yeah. Because he's supposed to have a brilliant amateur career, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess they knew something, and I guess that was the result because usually they push their fighters. They don't have many fighters in the first place, so to sign them, they'll push them. They stopped pushing him. I didn't see him on that many fights here. I didn't hear of him until he made this fight, and I
Yeah,
thought he would win it comfortably, but I guess I was wrong. I didn't know that this
I
was.
did.
Yeah, I
I had
didn't think
him. I had him 5 rounds up. I did. I thought he caned him the first 5 rounds, especially
so.
when he knocked him down and then he got up and his legs were all over the place in the second round.
Yeah, so I don't know where he goes from here. As far as Mr. Wood, um, I think they have to make the Santa Cruz fight, but he's going to have to come over here for some
Yeah,
money on Showtime. They're just going to give him some money because
because
they're cheap.
Santa Cruz has got the super and he's got the regular, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Santa Cruz
WBA.
should come down. I think he came or he may have. I don't know, but I think he's planning to compete at 126. I think he beats Mr. Wood quite comfortably.
Who, Leo?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably be too fast for him. Probably. He's a good fighter, Santa Cruz. Even though he did get iced off Tank. But salute Mr. Pads. He's put good Champions League draws. City lost. Atletico could be worse. Yeah, true. It could be. I'm happy with Atletico Madrid. I'm happy that we've got them. Right, Ty. I'm gonna go into this. Stormy's back. Now I've heard. Right, I was listening to a British channel last night.
Mhm.
They're a pretty good channel, actually, to be fair. But I've heard a few channels slating the PBC summer schedule, spring and summer schedule. So let
Mhm.
me get it up. Now, for me, let me get rid of this first. Let me get rid of this banner because I can't see the last bit. Now, get rid of that and get rid of that. Right, so for me, I think.
I mean, are they
There's some.
surprised? I mean,
Do you not think that that's a good schedule? Because if you think about it, right, Ty, just looking at it quickly, you've got obviously you've got Eric
all right.
Saluban versus Sebastian I can't even see that.
Fundora. I have no
Fundora.
idea why he's
Fundora.
taking that fight with that skeleton. I
Yeah.
mean, I sound like a manager now. I mean, I was talking to people a couple months ago before this was made and the was in talks. I mean,
Yeah, but
if he wins this, it's sort of like a negative fight because like it's very dangerous. And Lubin's chin, I just
if we just go
oh
through the
man.
fights though,
Mhm.
right, you got the Errol Spence Ugas fight, right? So
Yep.
there's three belts on the line there. You've got Jamal Charlo versus Brian Castanio too,
Uh huh.
right? Uh, that's undisputed, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you've got his brother fighting at Selecki. Is it Selecki?
No.
Selecki?
Yeah. Suleki. Nah. I don't like
Yeah,
that
but
fight at all.
if you look at the schedule though, there's a load of belts all on the line.
Yeah, I can pick out the good ones. The one
Oh,
next week, Tim Zoo, Gaucher is good.
yeah,
Lubin Fundora is good. Spence Ugas is good, although I think this is like a stretch the muscles out for Spence. I don't think he'll have any problems with Ugas, hopefully. Charlo Castano 2 is good. I hope Castano wins, but I don't know. I doubt it because I don't think he can take a punch either, as most of Charlo's opponents, his past 8 fights.
yeah.
Benavidez, Lemieux, no.
I think that's a good fight, me.
Lemieux, I don't know about his whole deal at 68. He had a tough fight a couple years ago with Max Bursick, who dropped him like twice, I think, or something. It was really, really close, and that was like a Ramirez leftover. Davis, Romero, that's okay. Fulton, Roman is good. Charlo, Sulecki, uh, that should be a spar or something. That should be in the gym. Like I'd rather not fight than to fight guys like this, to be honest. I mean, he was okay, the Sulecki. I mean, when Jacobs fought him, that was good. But then he lost to Jacobs, they lost to Andre, and he was dropped by Rosado in a fight he was up comfortably to make it close in a 10 rounder. I mean, I'd rather not fight. And then Maxio versus Vargas is good.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Well, I'm going to bring Stormy in now. Just let me get rid of that. This is what I'm saying. Stormy, I was listening to this channel last night, and they were saying that that's pretty much crap. The only ones they were picking out what were really good was the Spence Ugas and the Castanio and Charlo one. But I've looked at that, and I think that's a pretty good schedule. It's better than a lot of shit what I've seen.
Well, it's starting out front foot heavy. Yeah.
Mm,
That Zoo and Gaucher fight is interesting
Yeah, that's
because
very good.
if Zoo is able to stop Gaucher,
yeah,
Mhm.
the rest of those guys better watch out.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's
They better
I
watch
really
out
like the fight. Yeah.
because there's something about Zoo and his dad. They had a
yeah,
little something underneath the surface that made them better fighters than people were giving them credit for as they were on their ascension, winning, because the Zoo is a bigger guy than his dad was, which can play
yeah,
well into his favor. But he also has his dad's legacy to motivate him. So it's like, I don't look at him as a guy now that's just living off his dad's name anymore because I saw his past couple of performances and I'm like, this kid is stepping it up now. It's starting to look like he might be able to make some noise. So
yeah,
Gaucher had better come in there ready to fight and win. Otherwise, all the spoils will go to Zoo, especially if he stops Gaucher. If he stops Gaucher or makes him quit, which is never off the table,
yeah.
start paying closer attention to Zoo.
Right, I'm going to hold my hands up. I'm going to be deadly honest. I've not watched any of his fights, and I'll tell you the reason why. That was one reason why what you've just been talking about. because I thought, is he gonna be another spin-off of his dad? What it got, living off it. I'm very funny like that with fighters. I'm really funny with that. If I've seen a fighter and grown up watching him, like just for instance, like Conor Ben again, things like that. I don't know. It could just be me, Stormy. I'm very stubborn to take to the sons because I just got this funny feeling that you're living off your dad's name. And I know I shouldn't think like this, but I think like that. You're just living off your dad's name. You're not going to be like your dad. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't watched Costa Zoo's son, because I thought the same thing. I thought, yeah, he's just going to be another so-called living off his dad's name. So, right, you've got my attention there. So I'll hold my hands up and admit I've not watched any of his fights.
Now, as far as Lubin and Fondura, I find that fight interesting because
dangerous.
Yeah, Lubin, of all the kind of opponents he could have fought to be positioning himself for another.
It makes no sense.
Huh?
It's exactly what you're saying. So I don't mean to cut you off. Like I was just that line of thought of all the people he could have fought. He chose this guy poses boxing.
And I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
He got knocked out quick by Mel, right?
Yeah.
But Fondura is capable of beating him up, which is two different things. You'd rather get knocked out quick than a guy to put a thrashing on you. And remember, he's got to get close to Fondura. Fondura doesn't have to necessarily get close to him.
It just I don't get what the manager was thinking here. I mean, the number one in WBC, they just knocked out that Bumzario guy who they just knocked him out. They blew him away in 6 rounds. I would probably look for somebody closer to the height. I mean, I know Jamonte Clark had a draw with Fondura. That was a good fight. And interestingly enough, Gachet knocked him out with the right hand. And Gachet is a non-puncher, but his right hand is sneaky, what I've noticed. But with Lubin, I mean, Clark was 6'2", 6'1". Lubin is 5'9" on a good day. Right. And you've got Fondura. He's like a skyscraper with legs. He's 6'7", 6'6". He has to somehow get close. I know Lubin has long arms, but I'm trying to think. Who do I think I have the better? Like I mean, Lubin is definitely a better out and out guy. That's not Fondura's game, but
do you think Lubin's going to get knocked out, Ty?
It's very possible because he can't take a punch. That's my whole issue with this guy. There's something wrong, on the bottom of his lip, that chin area right there. There's something that's a big issue. I mean, I know Rosario can hit, but I mean, he was knocked down early in his career by Sandoval, which kind of looked like a flash knockout. He said whatever. Then he got knocked out really badly versus Charlo. Apparently, he was knocked down in his comeback fight versus another journeyman, some guy, Ortiz or whatever. And then he got hurt in a fight that he was winning pretty comfortably versus Rosario. I mean, that was an arm punch that he got hit by. I've seen that multiple times. That was an arm punch. People are trying to make, oh no, it was a straight right. That was an arm punch. He was literally trying to. I mean, he was on the way to bring that punch back. I mean, that was really. He didn't even step into that. And Lubin again, the legs did dance, and he was doing the thing. It's like, I think he's a good fighter skill wise, but that chin, man. Go on, Stormy. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're making valid points. I don't mind. You're saying the things that need to be said, and people should pay attention. These are the kind of things, like I said, there are fighters, like for Lubin's shortcomings, this could go terribly wrong.
Yeah.
If he comes out victorious, kudos to him. But there is some risk involved here. Don't you agree?
Oh, very much so. I mean, it's exactly like you put it. Like, if he wins, good, kudos. Like, it helps you, but not like a crazy amount, but if you lose, it's. I
Let's
mean,
put
you
it
are
like
knocked
this:
right off the rung.
if that fight was for a title, I could see it.
Yeah,
Is it
exactly.
not for a title? No.
It's not for
No,
a title.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
even for a title eliminator, though they might try to change that up at the last
saying
minute and say it
interim or
is.
something.
Yeah.
It's probably they'll probably make it some final eliminator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
WBC. Yeah, it is interim title.
Yeah,
WBC super welterweight interim title. So that's some BS.
I'm
What
trying
do
to
you
see the odds on this.
think of the David Benavidez versus David Lemieux fight, Stormy? I mean, I agree with Ty. I definitely don't think that
I,
David Lemieux is a 168 fighter.
no,
He
he's
never
not.
won
And
the
that's going
Sundays.
to make the Mexican monster look more like a monster when he goes in there and mauls Lemieux to death. Huh?
Yeah,
It's like he's, the guy is coming down for extremely heavy weight. I mean, he walks around probably at 200 plus pounds, but
Mhm.
he's that Terminator type. He comes, and it's like Lemieux, who can punch pretty good,
yeah.
but he ain't really made no hay at 168. He's barely survived being killed at 160. So it's like, listen, man,
He's
and let's not forget
one-dimensional
that
as well, isn't
Mr.
he, Stormy?
Benavidez, I don't think he's 26 years old yet.
Yeah,
So he can throw punches until they turn the lights out in the arena.
yeah.
This is a bad night for David Lemieux.
I think
Bad
so.
night.
I think so.
He gonna see monsters in his dreams forever after this. I'm serious. It's like I can't believe some of these matches that they're making,
Yeah,
especially for guys who like don't have nothing riding but their asses on the line.
yeah.
It's like if David Lemieux could have held out for a fight with Charlo,
He'd have
And he
had a better
probably would
chance
have got it.
against Charlo, wouldn't he?
And he
huh?
probably would have got it.
He would have had a better chance against Charlo.
Yeah.
Exactly. Listen, Charlo looked like chopped liver against Montiel. Huh?
Yeah,
He looked awful.
He did.
And I
Now-
saw them cry in the locker room. Like, apparently, I saw a video. I've got to find it, but like his wife was there, and people were like, they're like screaming, "We're warriors" and all that, almost as if it was close. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, Story.
Listen, Selecki is a better fighter than Montiel.
Yep.
He is. So I ain't taking no excuses. I had a bad night and all of this. You got to go in there and do away with Selecki right away. If he goes the distance, if you look lackluster, you know what? I'm calling him out again, just like Mike Tyson said. Huh? He left a couple of turds on Mike Tyson's hot boxing sofa when he was sitting in there and Tyson asked him about Benavidez and Canelo. When they got up after taping the show, Mike had to call his crew in to clean the couch off because he shit himself. When Mike asked him them questions, he didn't want to answer.
Okay,
But I was listening. I was like this, ear up to the screen to see what he had to say. Because the Lions only dudes, they talk a lot of stuff, right?
They
Yeah.
do.
Did you see the look on his face when Mike asked him, "Why don't you fight the monster?" He was like, "He's no monster." He said it
there's
all,
nothing to offer
intimidated
him.
and stuff. Where was that bravado and all of that stuff? You can't tell me, oh, you was intimidated by Mike, because Mike likes to edge people on. Mike was edging on Leonard and Hearns, and they both 70 years old, sitting on his sofa. He was like, "You gonna let him talk to you like that, man?" He was edging on two of the all-time greats, and they are way out of their careers. You know what I'm saying? And then when they stood up, like they was gonna get in each other's face, Mike was just sitting there. He was just having a good time. Shane Mosley was trying to separate them. So it's like, again, Maul, he dropped the ball. It reminded me a lot of when Danny Jacobs ran up on him in that corridor. And he was like, "Hey, what we got here?"
I remember that. I remember that very well.
Remember how quiet he looked just like he did on Mike Tyson's couch, didn't he? Like he went and dropped a couple of loads, huh? when Danny walked up to him. That's when Danny famously said he was touching M's.
And they took that and ran with it. They're like, oh, he's money man. And I guess in a sense, they're right
But he
now.
was talking all that stuff before Danny showed up, right? He was talking, man, mad cash, right? And then it's like when Danny was right there, all he had to do is tell Danny, hey, when we gonna get it on, bro? I'm here, you here. Let's make it. No, it was nothing like that. He was sitting up there. I think I heard that old timely song in the background. I fall to pieces. He walked up on me.
And the thing is, like, I mean, you heard him on the couch there. He said, "Oh, Benavidez brings nothing to me. I'd rather fight Canelo." I mean, should Canelo at this point?
That's what Warzone's just put.
That's what he
said. Same thing, yeah.
He said, "I don't want to fight Benavidez. He brings nothing to me. I'd rather fight Canelo." I think Canelo at this point should go and get in a lab and clone himself so that they can fight clones of him, because they're just. I see what they're doing. They're holding out, hoping that he picks them. In the meantime, they're just gonna do whatever they're doing, either not fight
he
guys.
Should go fight Benavidez simply because they got beef now. And he mentioned Benavidez's name. Benavidez answered and never stepped back after answering, and Maul stepped back. Too late for that, bro. You called that man out. Now you got to go and see him. You got to go see him. I don't care what you say, what excuses you make or whatever. And the feather in the cap is if you fight Benavidez and whoop him, now you make yourself look even better in front of Canelo's eyes, because it's a man that Canelo refused to face. A man that Canelo waited for to lose the belt before he went after that championship. There's so much that you could add to your own story just by taking care of business. But remember what I said earlier in this show. That's not what these men of today are built like now. They come into rings, liking to polish their fingernails, wear man purses, skirts, and everything. They color their hair and all of this foolishness. When they talk, they pop their neck like the women from the ghetto do.
Yeah,
and all of that
divas,
stuff.
Stormy.
Huh?
They're frigging divas, man.
Yeah, they're divas, but they have feminine behavior in a most masculine sport. You got women on the women's side that got greater balls than these dudes.
Women, Stormy, women's boxing's just completely reversed it round, hasn't it? Women's boxing, I look forward
I say
to
it again
boxing.
for you. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields,
Vanna Marshall.
What's her name? Amy Baumgartner, huh?
Yeah.
Jessica McCaskill. All these women showing greater balls. Huh? Michaela Mayer. They're showing greater balls than any of these dudes out here.
Like Serrano and Taylor they don't even wear purses. I mean, Jamel and Jamal wear purses.
Exactly.
Jamel and Jamal wear purses.
And they get taken to school in other cities by women. Huh? They get taken to school. Huh? Remember when they lost their bag of money? Huh? They got schooled. Huh? They lucky that they left with their lives, messing around in another city, and all they got was their money took. Huh? They could have got their bodies shook. Huh? Messing around with the wrong people in the wrong cities. What they doing? Huh? You better get out of here with that feminine energy, because there are people who recognize feminine energy and they capitalize on it.
Yeah.
That's why Canelo can sit up there and say something like, you're a horrible fighter and you fight nobody and all you want is a payday and this, that, and the other, because he knows that at the end of the day, you ain't even going to say nothing back to him about that.
Oh, no way.
Warzone said, is that why their fights go to purse bids? Because they wear purses. I've got to make. I'm gonna probably make I'll probably put something in Photoshop. I'll probably put a picture of Taylor, just like going to the store, like a Serrano going to the store or something, or at a fight, and she's dressed up probably casually, and then I'll put Jamal or Jamel going to a fight, and they have a man bag or a purse, and be like, pick which one.
Yeah. That, do you know what, right? Salute to you, BFTB. He's in the house. And Volts UK, salute to you.
Yeah, salute.
Do you know what, right, Stormy? A few, maybe a year or so ago, bro. I think I said this to you last time I spoke to you. I wasn't into women's boxing. I couldn't grasp it. It just wasn't my thing. But after seeing all the BS and the shit what these fucking fighters of today are doing, like Stormy was just saying, like we were saying earlier, the only women's boxing has just completely they make men's boxing embarrassing. The women fighters are fighting. I look forward to that. Katie Taylor, who's it, Serrano. I can't wait for. I enjoy women's boxing now. I enjoy. I'm not saying he's. I don't think he's. You know, men's boxing always obviously been my main sport, but these man boxers of today need to fucking take a league out of these women boxing and and fight. Like
No, see,
Stone
you
said.
wrong. You wrong there, Laws. They done took a page too many from women. Matter of fact, they've taken the wrong page. They've taken
No,
the
I'm saying they need to
they've
take a
taken,
page out of the women's
yeah, they've
boxing.
taken the cosmetic pages. They've taken the cosmetic pages, the makeup and all of that, wardrobe. But they ain't took testosterone, gut check, huh?
Yeah,
Measuring up and stuff like that. They ain't taking those pages. Hmm?
yeah,
And this whole thing about not wanting to challenge yourself. I want to see, am I better than advertised? They don't
facts.
want to do that. And
See,
there lies a problem. And then they get mad at you because you come on the air like that and you have somebody like me on here telling the truth about them. They get mad,
exactly,
huh?
exactly,
But they have to
exactly.
understand, every time they get mad, them little thongs and stuff that they wear, it ain't gonna get nothing but tighter on them, because the more they swell up like that and get mad and everything, I'll come back with one simple sentence: prove me wrong.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Stormy. Yeah, well, Stormy, me and you speak about this all the time, though. Me and you, Ty, as well. They are. And they're like, say, they wear the skinny jeans, tight pants, dyed hair,
Yeah,
the
it's
fucking
just it's
pants hanging
completely
off their arse.
dejected. Like I mean, they basically got nothing to lose at this point. I mean, I
Is
see all of these things, and I see my favorite fighters losing. I mean, it's basically pushed me to upload fucking gaming videos on my channel. I mean,
Yeah,
it
listen, man,
basically got
it's different
my
that's
if
a
you're a
time.
comment.
fighter.
That's a great
TS
comment.
Boxing, check this out. It's different if you're a fighter like Hector
Facts, Warzone.
Camacho or Jorge Paez. That means
Facts.
that's part of your personality that you do
Yeah,
these
yeah.
things. You don't do it as a gimmick. You just do it because that's who you are, a little on the wild side. That's okay. But these guys are doing it because it is who they are. They have adopted the feminine, reflection. That's
Goddamn
what
Ryan
they've done.
Garcia.
Where are they daddies at? Seriously, these
Oh,
guys that we talk about, where are they dads? Because if that was
that's a good
my
question.
son, you have to understand, if that was my son, I'd be going upside his head. Boy, what's wrong with you? What the hell is your problem? I didn't raise you like this. You understand?
Fucking
Standing
hell,
up there,
yeah.
popping your neck and stuff like you a girl with a baby on your hip in the ghetto or something. No. Huh?
Fucking great. Once Stormy gets going, he's fucking.
And they
It's true
see
though.
that
Everything he's saying is true, man.
it's
Yeah.
100%. OG.
as they see the one dude. Well, I mean, they all copy each other. They wear sombreros whenever their opponent is Mexican. They all copy that. If somebody
Yeah.
wears a man bag, somebody has to wear a man.
Let me show you what
that's even bigger.
machismo is. Let me show you what machismo is. Roberto Duran, we've been talking about him a lot lately, right? But on the night that he beat Davey Moore to become the junior middleweight champion of the world, he beat the crap out of Davey Moore, beat the crap out of him, right? And they were, they sang happy birthday to him on that night and everything. And they asked Roberto Duran, they said, well, such a wonderful performance on your birthday and everything. And they say, you got anything to say? He was like, yeah, today, you know, I fought and he's going to the hospital. But he said, if I was in better shape, he'd be going to the morgue. Huh? Yeah, that was Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
You understand? After just
That's what
winning
you
and
want.
everything. So he basically is telling you, I whooped him and I wasn't even at my best, but I'm ready to get to my best so I can show you.
That
These
killer
guys of
instinct's
today,
gone,
man,
Stormy.
seriously? And we're supposed to respect them. Yeah, they might have a couple of $1 million in the bank because they invested well, and Al Heyman helped them with that, because you wouldn't be able to do that without that type of assistance.
Yeah.
But contentment comes when you have the things that you wanted in life, huh? You wanted a nice house. You wanted to buy your mama a house. You wanted a nice car. You can put so much bling and green around your woman, she won't even walk away from you because she'd be stupid because of your bank account, huh? But when you look in that mirror every freaking day, you know whether you're looking at a chump or a champ. And let me tell you something about that mirror you got. It works two ways, brother. Because when we see you out here and you're sitting on Mike Tyson's couch, huh? And you can't answer questions that the public ask of you, you can't answer them. You don't have the answers. You know why? Because you don't have the substance, huh? And people can see through those rose-colored lenses that you sport, huh? Running around slapping phones out of fans' hands in the stadium and being a big badass, huh? All of that stuff. That don't make you a champ. It make you a freaking chump, huh? We out here, we see hundreds of fighters a year. Some we crave to see more. Some we wish you freaking go away. Spend that money and live that life. Leave the fighting to the real men.
You is a fucking preacher, man, Stormy. You great, mate. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I can't say any better myself. Absolutely awesome. And it's so true, man. Just fantastic stuff, mate. Fantastic stuff. But Stormy, and like we just spoke earlier, but when you speak words like that to people, you get hated on because you're just seen as a hater. You're not a hater, man. You're just a realist. A realist.
Listen,
A realist who sees it for what it is.
yeah, absolutely. And the thing
Absolutely
about it
brilliant.
is this: if I was working in the gym with any of these guys, it'd be the same credo. It's like, hey, what you gonna be? Huh? You gonna be a man or you gonna be a mouse? Huh? If you're gonna be a mouse, there's plenty of traps out there in the alley. I'll push you on out the back door. Go for it. You're
Yeah.
gonna be a man, you come in here and you take care of your business, and we go on and collect these belts and collect these chumps, you know, and we go forward. That's all.
Facts.
And you got
Facts.
trainers out here that's just happy to be with these guys because they can make a dollar off of them. Huh?
Yeah.
Money has never been my focus on that. I could have been working with fighters in Vegas over 15. No, this is now over 20 years ago when Eddie Futch was just retiring, Thel Torrance and those guys was around. Man, I could have been there. I chose not to.
Yeah.
That was a choice. And I'm good.
That's, you see, Stormy, that's gone in boxing now, bro. Trainers, fighters, that shit's gone now, Stormy. People who did it for the love of the sport, purely just for the love of the sport, or people who were hungry to get somewhere, that's gone now, Stormy. Them days are gone now, man. And my son always says that to me because when I talk to him about fighters, he'll say, "Oh, it's like anything in life, isn't it? When you were younger, it was better, even though there probably wasn't as much to do. You know, like I always say, oh, we didn't have PlayStations, Xboxes. We were out nick knocking or getting, fishing and stuff like that. We used to go on bike rides. We used to make our own entertainment, not sit up there in front of a screen. But I always say the similar things to him about boxing, like watching boxing from when I was younger. It's just a completely different ball game now to what it is in this new generation. Is it us though, Stormy? Is it us that we've not moved on, or you know? I always ask myself that.
No, listen, time.
No, I mean, I know where you're going to go. Go on, but
Yeah,
I'll finish it.
time moves on, but
Yeah.
you see, like the Arctic, the ice that's melting in the Arctic. When we were little boys, Laws D,
Mm,
there was bigger glaciers in the Arctic. But
facts,
with
yeah,
global
yeah,
warming and everything, some of that stuff has melted off and become small ice mountains and just rivers of ice and things like that when they were once glaciers, and things of that nature. So it's like with time, we've seen the earth turn into something that is becoming less and less inhabitable. And a lot of it comes due to us,
yes,
not caring for it. So eventually the demise comes, But in order to sustain, you have to identify that there's a problem to begin with. If you keep those rose-colored lenses on, you'll never see anything. You'll just be screaming for your creator when it happens because you'll be like, oh God, what happened? Well, it's too late then.
yeah,
It's too late.
yeah,
But you have to identify that there's a problem to begin with. A lot of these people blind because they got money in the bank. There were fighters who were making nowhere near what these guys make today, and they still line up to fight just because they say, hey,
yeah.
you want to fight this guy? Yeah. Fighters like Freddie Pendleton, man, who would go and take a fight on a couple days' notice, man, because he liked fighting.
I was
These
watching.
guys, you ask
I was
one of these
watching you
guys
the
today
other
to
week
take a
with
fight
that.
on short notice, they'll get so mad at you and talk about, hey, I'm a professional and this and that, and you got to see my manager or call Al and all of that foolishness.
Yeah, it's Stormy. Is that I was watching that? That's you the other week, wasn't it? With Andrew Titans. Excuse me, on Drew's channel, the Jamaican Canadian lad. Was that him?
Huh?
Who was that? Freddie? Oh God, the lad who you just said, Freddie Pemberton, was he?
Yeah, he's on there usually. Most weeks he's on there. He wasn't on there this past Sunday, but the previous
Yeah,
Sunday he's on
you was
there.
on there a couple of weeks ago with him, wasn't there?
Yeah.
He's Jamaican born but lives in Canada.
You know what? I don't remember where Freddie is from, man.
Yeah, I think
But
he's
I
Jamaican.
tell you something, he is quite a character, always
Yeah,
interesting to talk to. He'll have stories for you up the wazoo. And of course, he can whoop everybody ass. Let him tell it. He whoop everybody ass.
yeah. I swear he
Freddie
said
is
he's
really a
Jamaican
cool
born.
dude, though. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. Right, boys, I'm going to have to get up out of here because it's nearly half past midnight. It's 21 minutes past 12. It's been an absolute pleasure. Stormy, you doing your chop session later?
Yeah,
If I'm
in
up,
about
I'll
40
jump in.
minutes. Yeah, 8
I'll
p.m.
jump in.
Central. Got the Friday night chop session. I'll just probably touch on a few things like what we talked about tonight. There's no real big show or nothing like
Mm,
that. I might invite a couple people to come on too. It's like,
yeah.
this is
Stormy,
what it is.
do you the question before I get up out of here? Do you think this year has been a good year for boxing so far compared to the previous couple of years? Because
Well,
I do.
it's still early. I mean, the real fights are going to start in April, you know,
Yeah, next
and
month
then
and May are stacked, aren't they?
yeah, the real fights will start in April, and then we'll go from there and see what happens. But
Yeah.
the wonderful thing about boxing is this: there will be some matches that take place that are going to surprise us, and we didn't know, because I mean, let's just think back to 20. What was that? 20. Was that 2020 or 2019 when we had Zepeda and Baranchik? Man, let
Yeah.
me tell you, that fight right there I love that fight. And I love those two guys for giving us that fight. We're talking about 8 knockdowns in 5 rounds, 4 apiece. And these men just were like, it was something out of a freaking movie, bro.
Oh, quality. That's what you want. Ty, any last words before I get up out of here, brother?
No, just thanks for having me on, man. It was great to be on a panel with you guys, Stormy Laws.
You're welcome.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. And with boxing, I think the more things change, the more they stay the same. If anything, I think it's getting worse. I mean, I don't know where things will be in a couple of years, but
yeah,
I don't know. I feel like I've kind of lost a lot of the enthusiasm for it. I'm not really in chats as much as I used to be, and just
I know your pain. I know your pain, Ty. I know that, bro.
I hate it. I'm the kind of guy. I'm kind of selfish. When things don't go my way, man, I literally check out. I open the door and say goodbye, on to better things.
Yeah. Well, for me to close out on that, I'm exactly the same. I just saying salute to Mickey Dub. Salute to you, Mickey Dub.
And Ty, if you want to come over to my show, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat. I'll be in the chat for you.
Okay. Before I get up out of here, yeah, thanks for coming on. And Warzone, salute to you, bro. I'm sorry I haven't typed it in. And Mike616 and everyone who come through, Gil Cole's main man. But before I get up out of here, Ty, that's how I felt, mate. I felt the same thing. And Volts UK, bloody hell, they're all coming through. Salute to you, bro. I felt the same thing, bro. Boxing's just, for me, boxing over the last 3 years, 2 years, it's just like what we spoke about. It's been shit, man. But this year's got me, this year so far, and the cards, what I've seen, what coming up, it's pulled me back into it. And I must admit, I did stop making content, and it was very slow. And I'm not the best content creator, but as the old saying says, you got to keep grinding, man. And I do enjoy it. I do this because I enjoy it. I met some wonderful friends like you, Stormy. I've known you best part nearly 4 years now.
Yeah.
And we've been,
somehow, it has been that long.
Hey, Laws, and I was talking about you last night on my Dining Dish show because I brought up that comment you made that night when we were doing that show, and you said, "Man, you guys made me so hungry. I had to go in there and make me some toast and put some cheese on it."
Yeah, damn, yeah. I had cheese toasty going at 12 o'clock at night. The sandwich maker, cheese toasty, yeah, I did. Fuck, Stormy's talking all this damn good food, man. I thought I've already had my tea, but I've got to have something else. Man,
dude, last night I was talking about crispy legs and thighs, talking about fried chicken, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, pleasure. I tell you what we're going to have to do, though, before I wrap up, man. I'm going to start doing these Friday night lives and getting more people on and obviously getting onto your channels as well. Me and Stormy did that
Kingdom and States.
That was a great weekend, man. I enjoyed that. More of them as well, Stormy. But I want to say salute to you, Stormy B man, for coming through. Salute Tyrone, absolute pleasure speaking to you and you, Stormy, and salute to everyone who came through the chat. And Mike was on earlier. I think he's left a private message, but he must have to get up out of here. But I'm going to check you out, Stormy, when you're live in a bit, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, you got a question in the chat there from Gil Coles.
Do you eat fried chicken in the UK, Loz? Yeah, we do, yeah. Yeah. Maybe not like what you do over in America, because you boys are the inventors of that. Southern fried chicken. I think where I live, it's Southern Crow chicken. They're about that big and they've still got feathers on them. But no, only joking. But yeah, we eat fried chicken, but not like what you lot have, the proper bucket southern fried chicken. But yeah, we have it, but not as good as yours. Salute to you all. I'm up out for you.
All
I'll
right,
catch
man.
you on the next one.
All right. Peace to everybody.
Peace.